my story with you. I'm truly honored to share the stage with such great women and such great speakers. You guys are amazing. This is the first time I've done this. I speak about my business and the work that I do all the time, and that's very easy for me. What's difficult is for me to craft my story and tell my story, and I'm just learning how to do that. So you're my first audience. Thank you for being here. I don't have the secret sauce, or the golden nugget, or the hot ticket to leadership, but I do have what works for me. So I'm hoping by sharing what I have with you that you might find some nugget or some piece of information here that might help you on your journey. These are the brands with whom we work. We work with about 41 advertisers around the globe to help them produce their advertising. So their TV ads, their print ads, their online work, their experiences. We are sort of business managers that work between the advertising agency and the marketing group so that everyone is more productive and more efficient. And in the end, you're saving money. So my company actually skyrocketed in 2008, 2009, 2010. Right through the recession, we grew 40% year over year. Woo, yeah. It still amazes me, because of where I come from, my credentials today. When I hear them, and I hear people talk about me, I was incredibly shy for a long time. I'm not anymore, but I got over that. But I'm a singer, I'm a professional singer, an opera singer. And I used to actually ask people to turn around so I could sing to the back of their heads, which wasn't really effective when you're in the theater. I got over that. I never expected to have a company of over 100 people in 13 countries around the world. Honestly. Thank you. The first time I was called a visionary, I was like, what? You know, like, who, me? But, you know, over time, and how many of you have had that moment in your business where, you know, you realize, I have something to offer. I actually, that means I've arrived. I have something to give. How many of you have had that experience yet in your business? It's an amazing, profound moment where you go, whoa, whoa. It was surreal. When I started this business, I didn't go to business school. I did not have a business plan. I had no financing. My first client was Coors Brewing Company in Golden, Colorado. And I had no backers or partners. I bootstrapped the business with Coors and then other clients that came after that. And one day in my 5th year of business, I had a part-time CFO who said to me, you know, we were strategizing, and he said, one day, I think that year we were like $750,000 in revenue. He said, one day, you're going to be a $10 million company, and you have to think about what your life looks like at that time. And I said, what the bleep are you talking about? And I am very proud to say that after 15 years in business, I am still 100% owner of a $15 million company. Most people, when they look at me, think that the road was paved with glitter and gold. Somewhere over the rainbow. And thank you. And of course, as you all know in business, we women can make it look very easy, right? We have so many skills. We can be authentic and vulnerable. We can be feminine in the way that we master our power. We can share and collaborate. Not that men don't do those things well, I'm just saying. We are really good at things that really come into play when we as business leaders have to lead others. And it wasn't easy. I think that we women can make business look good, look sexy. And that's fun. I didn't start with very much. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. From a lower middle class family, where my dad was a janitor in the New York City school system. And he was a fun guy, you can see. My mom was a Girl Scout leader, which is a volunteer position, and she worked her way up to a paid position without any college education to be the executive director of Girl Scouting of Brooklyn in Manhattan. And a fun fact about my mom is that logo, which she was very much a part of back when she was in Girl Scouts, is still the logo that they use today. And my mom ended up leaving the Girl Scouts, and then she started her own business, owning a snack bar and running a snack bar in a bowling alley. So even though my parents weren't rich in money, they were rich with wisdom. And I have learned that there are 3 things they taught me to be a leader, in which I use today. And I didn't realize those 3 things are as important as they are. So I'd like to share those with you in helping you to create your experience in your business. These are the locations of where my company is in the 13 countries, and I get to travel to all of these places and talk to so many people who I find are having the same challenges that we are all over the world. And there's some fundamental leadership skills that translate across languages and across borders. The first lesson that my mom and dad taught me is, use what you got to get what you want. And it doesn't sound like what it sounds like, but as a woman, we have many skills. I mentioned multitasking, being authentic, being feminine. I wanted to go to college, and I didn't have any money and didn't have any contacts. And I did have a singing voice that I thought, I could use this to get a scholarship. I could use this to get into school and get out of Brooklyn. And I did. I went to only 2 schools and auditioned. I got into both. And I used that tenacity and that drive today. I got singing scholarships. I had to renew them every year and persevere to get to college. And I think that was very forming for me when I was growing up. And the interesting thing that in the college where I studied music, to become a trained opera singer, I learned stage presence. I learned how to take the stage and how to command an audience, how to get people to follow my story. I learned how to turn my nervousness and my shyness into excitement. So I turned a negative into a positive. Sort of like turn that frown upside down, girl, you know. And then how to dress the part. So all throughout my career, I always dressed for the job or the role that I wanted next, so that people could see me in that role. And you know how to do that, right? We can do that as women. And lastly, I learned this in opera school. I've never actually been able to use that, so there you go. The next thing my parents taught me was to love what you do, and you'll never work a day in your life. How many of you have heard that before? It's not cliche, and I'll get more into that in a minute. The last thing they taught me, the third thing, was be great, not just good. My dad was a janitor, but he was the highest paid janitor in New York City, and he loved his job. And the teachers loved him, and the students loved him, and the families loved him. He was amazing, and that taught me that, you know, good is good enough, but great is better. So, if I may share with you how these 3 things play into my life and how I lead, I'm going to get started on that. I built my entire approach to leadership based on those things. So, the first thing is love. If you show up and are passionate about what you do, people will want to work with you because they want to just get sucked into your energy. They want to be with you. That people who work for me say all the time how much they enjoy just being around me. And now, with 100 people in 13 countries, it's difficult for me to connect with all of them. So it's a big challenge for me because they say, I don't get enough of you. And I'm like, God, I have a lot of air miles. I'm a global services member at United Airlines. I'm doing what I can to get out there. But we have to come up with other ways that we can connect as people, especially because we're so far apart in my company. But the passion translates it across miles. And be devoted to your business. If you love something, it's just like a relationship. You're devoted to it, and you care for it, and you care for the people with whom you work. It's really an important part of being a leader. The next thing, or the E in a leader, is expertise. You have to be expert. I know it sounds obvious in what you do, but you have to constantly hone your craft. And, I might add, invest in your people so that they can continue to grow and to learn. and have a budget for coaching and training and education so that your people can continue growing. It's worth saying, stay ahead of the curve and looking to see what is happening in the industry so that you can be more responsive to that and hone and bring your expertise to life. A lot of the speakers here talked about coaches and mentors.